All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell. Before we get started from this Bills win, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast channel if you enjoy our work and our content. And we have a lot to talk about today. What a day. The Bills beating the Dolphins 48-20 here in Orchard Park. It was so loud. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, we got to start. Mike, Josh Allen was phenomenal today.
Yeah, he loves beating up on the Dolphins.
He does.
And what he was today was all those things and more, what he's been, right?
Yep.
We've seen him be efficient, not doing the, hero ball stuff.
Yeah.
And then still making plays. Today he was all of that and then 30% more. I mean, he was so good looking for his receivers, finding them open, drilling the ball in there, moving in the pocket. The Bills offense dominated the game from the start, and it was Josh Allen and the play calling. We'll talk more about Dorsey and Diggs and Davis and everybody else. I thought this was an elite level game for Josh in the way he's played for the Bills.
I couldn't agree more. And it was funny. We led up all week talking about, the Dolphins are good, and we did the show and all this stuff, and I went, Josh Allen just doesn't lose to the Dolphins, like especially at home. Like that's what this came down to. And we've asked him over the years because look, he very well could win another AFC Offensive Player of the Week for his performance that he had. He had more touchdowns than incompletions. He had a perfect passer rating for the first time in his career. He was dialed in, and this is nothing new, like you said against Miami. He dominates them, and we've asked him what is it about Miami, and we've tried to figure out what motivates him, and he always says it's just another division game, all those things. It's a new defensive coordinator. That didn't matter. But you can't tell me he doesn't know what's going on when he hits the...
Yeah. I mean, he definitely knew. Of course he did.
It's the guy that says, I don't know what's going on in social media. And then you do the exactly perfect social media troll.
Yes.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
It was chef's kiss. I will say, I thought I saw a very poised Allen today.
Yeah.
In certain moments we've seen throughout his career, he gets a little, what do we call it, sugar high? You can see the anticipation, maybe the moment seems too big, but today he was so calm and cool. The march down the field to have the touchdown to Gabe Davis, obviously the Dolphins answer back, but I felt like he was in control all day. And like you said, he was able to execute the small plays and then have some of those throws where you're like, that is Josh Allen.
Yeah, and it helps when Stefon Diggs is Stefon Diggs. And you know what?
So good.
He doesn't ever talk about it, right? Where do you rank among wide receivers? You would never really, he knows he's one of the best, but he's hearing a lot about Tyreek Hill and this Miami offense and around the league. And
I
you know
took
what?
that personally.
Yes.
Jordan me.
And he had a moment after the pass interference call. He had little conversations with the Dolphins bench. You could see that. He got the pass interference.
I didn't see that.
So think about it. He had his yardage, he had his touchdowns, and he also drew, what was that, a 45-yard penalty to set up another score.
Yeah.
He was a dominant player on the field. And that 55-yard touchdown was such a, I won't say a game changer because the game was going in that direction, but the difference between a 20-yard gain and a touchdown is immense.
Unreal.
We often talk about do your 111, and then that's what the team says. And we say, cut the BS. Sometimes you have to be more than 111.
Yeah.
And that's a type of play that it's a perfect timing throw. We watch it in the press box today, and I'm sitting there the ball's thrown before Steph's really breaking and turning in. And he catches it, and Steph's really smart. Sometimes he just goes down. There's no need to take big hits in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And that was one where he's just nope, nobody's going to tackle me. That's an individual effort. We talk a lot about what's yards after catches.
Yeah.
How about yards after catch right there?
Yeah.
That's just one guy winning an individual battle and wanting it more. We often talk about scheme, all these things.
Yeah.
You
win
also
your individual battles. It helps.
Doing that, and I really feel like that broke open the game.
It did.
You felt like this team, all the momentum, that type of play where you're like, okay, it seemed like a routine type of first down, all this stuff, and then it was when he was gone, I was like, man, that is a statement.
And that 111th, when Sean talks about that, I don't think he's saying don't do more than just catch the ball and go out of bounds or do this. I think he's talking about making sure you're doing your job so your teammate can do his job.
Yeah.
Well, when Josh Allen throws you the ball there and you feel like you can make a play, Stefon Diggs did that. So, yes, and he even's talked about doing a little more than your 111.
Yeah.
That's what I think every team wants, the special players to make special plays, and that's what he did.
I loved the celebration, too.
Stefon Stone Cold Diggs.
Oh, my gosh. Afterwards, post-game saying he owes some fans $18.
Maybe it may be 36. each beer individually may be $18.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But let me ask you this. In all the celebrations you guys, and I've seen, you've seen, I remember, T.O. with the popcorn and all. I don't remember seeing a guy grab a couple beers and do that.
Steph did it his first year.
I was going to say,
He did it his first year.
Was it his first year?
It was in that corner. I had the gif of it.
First year 2020?
Maybe it had to be 21.
It had to be 21
Okay,
then.
yeah, I was going to say.
Wow.
First
So
year with
good.
fans, yeah.
Oh, so, he's been there, done that.
It's so funny, though. It
Likes
hits
to have a
every
beer.
time. It hits.
Gabe was asked about it, and he's like, guy likes to have a beer. Yeah, like, that's perfect. He knows what he does when he gets in the end zone.
It hits every time. Let's talk Ken Dorsey.
Beautiful.
It was great.
It was beautiful. It was, here you go, Dable-esque.
Wow. I know that probably hurts you to say that.
This is more fake news. The fact that I don't, no, actually, I haven't, yeah. This isn't Gabe Davis. I've had disdain for, I've had dislike for what Ken Dorsey's done. But that opening drive, especially scripted, 7 out of the 8 plays in that opening drive had pre-snap motion.
Yep.
Loved everything about that.
Yep.
There was creativity. There was balance. All of those things. He's in his bag right now.
Yeah.
He's feeling himself, knowing everything that he touches, like Dable was at times, just turned to gold.
Yeah.
And he had that Miami defense so off balance, and just the continuity, and Josh looks comfortable. Again, we talked about after week 1, the offense looked uncoordinated.
Yeah.
That is a far cry from what they are right now. They are dialed in.
Very coordinated.
Very coordinated. Points help.
I also think that they play with a certain pace and a cadence now that they had lost a little bit. They certainly lost that in the...
Trying to do Face ID.
It's on Mike's phone.
Because Jenna's phone died. It was a crazy move I had to make there.
Sorry.
I think they have that rhythm and
Yeah.
poise. And you mentioned the poise, but also a pace. And they ran hurry up on a short yardage.
Loved it.
Really
Loved it.
good. But sometimes
Old guy
it's
couldn't
just...
get in.
Yeah, but how about the play he made along the sidelines? Stick
Yes.
up for the old men.
Yeah.
Yes.
They know their limitations, and they just handle what they can handle. And sometimes, you worry about him a little. And I appreciate the concern.
Mike goes,
from
he's
you
gone.
too.
And then all of a sudden he goes, no, he's not. We're in the press box. He's gone. No, he's not.
But it was good. He was good.
Oh, that's funny. All right, well, this was a huge game in the division. I mean, we talked about what it would be if the Dolphins were to win this game. I mean, they'd be 0-2, trailing. They did not. The Dolphins, the Miami. What did you say? The Miamis.
The Miamis.
Miami's
When
did
we
not.
were doing another piece
Yeah.
earlier, Dan referred to them as the Miamis, which
Well,
could stick, I think. a
I
little
like the
bit.
Miamis.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, this is a big time game because of the implications and what it means in the AFC East.
Look, the head-to-head is so important,
It is.
right? And last year the Bills lost the first, got the second one, and were able to make up for that Jets game. They haven't totally made up for that
Yeah.
yet because there's still a long season left, but at worst in the regular season, you will split with Miami.
Yeah.
So if you still have that game sitting out there because of the Jets.
Yeah.
I'm not anticipating either the Jets or New England beating this Miami team.
No.
So the Bills just have to take care of business
Yeah.
and then see
Yep.
where they are at the end of the year. But you're right. It's big for many reasons. Now you're looking at a Bills team that is arguably the hottest team in the NFL right
100%.
now.
Yeah.
Right? When you've
They made a
now
statement
won,
today.
I mean,
I
they're
agree.
scoring and scoring and scoring. And by
Statement.
the way, I looked at it because I said to you guys, man, how close are they to the Dolphins? I think they're 11 points behind
Less,
Miami
yes.
Point
in
differential.
point score, but the
Yeah.
point
Oh, yeah.
differential,
Yeah, actually.
the Bills are off the charts. I
Yeah.
think they're number one in the NFL.
Yeah, because it's been going well.
It was Jordan meme again all week, and I think they liked it. We talked about it on this channel.
Yeah.
They liked that everybody was talking about the great Miami team
Of
that scored
course they
70
did.
points, and you need to bring in Usain Bolt to be able to. They gassed him up, and you know what? That was a statement. Taquan Jones said it after the game. Leonard Floyd said after the game. They should be talking more about us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Even Ed Oliver, yeah.
Yep. All week, you shower them with flowers. And then
Yep.
all of a sudden, you're like, hey, by the way, we were just kidding. Like, did you see
Yeah.
what we did?
Yeah.
We didn't do it with our talking. We did it on the play on the field. I loved it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think, like Sean McDermott talked about, big time players make big time plays in
Yep.
big moments. And while it is a week 4 matchup, this was a big game, and the
yeah.
Bills were able to take care of business.
Yeah.
They were commanding in the way that they did it, both offensively and defensively. Having this game at home, too. We've shot a lot of games here in Orchard Park. It's the loudest home game I can
Amazing.
ever remember. It was deafening.
Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, it's Miami. It's an important game, as Jenna just described, but it is October the 1st.
Yeah.
And it's different. But I also think that The weather was perfect.
The weather was perfect.
People are freer.
Great drinking
You're
weather.
not sitting in there
It really
bundled
was.
up like you cannot move, and you're just cheering to stay warm.
Yeah.
I mean, it was on from the beginning, and this team had them engaged from the the introductions to the first drive down the field.
Also, banger national anthem. It was, I don't know who did it, but it was really good.
Yeah.
I sat there in the press box today. I was in the press box for this one. Jenna
I was
on
the field. Yeah.
I looked at you, Mike, and I said, if the Bills win the toss, should they take the ball?
Yeah.
And again, it's kind of a crazy thought because you always want to double dip with the end of the first half and get the ball in the second half. But I thought if you can get that energy and that emotion, because that Raiders game, they marched down the field and it kind of sucked the energy out of the place.
Yeah.
So the Dolphins win the toss. They defer. The Bills were the ones that threw the first punch. I thought that was huge.
Well, because Miami did score. And just think, it might be a little different. I'm probably not with the way the Bills played today. But if Miami takes the opening kickoff, goes down and gets a touchdown, now you're playing catch up right from the start.
I agree.
Yep,
And it's different. But look, Sean McDermott should have a lot of confidence in both his offense and his defense right now. Defense gave up those few in the beginning, and that made you think, like, what are we looking into
I was
today?
like, ooh, track
And then
meet.
the defense just woke up.
Yeah.
Terrell Bernard, again, deserves a ton of credit. Sean McDermott said that 40% of the plays he could not relay in to Bernard to make the plays. That Bernard had to read hand signals.
Because it was
That's
so
a lot
loud.
for a first-year starter, second-year player. Bernard deserves a ton for, again, what does Sean say? Lining guys up, getting them in the right position. That was impressive when you couldn't hear it at home.
Well,
And he had a fumble recovery.
Yeah,
Because
and
of course.
and splash plays.
Of course.
I will say, too, earlier this week we talked to Bernard about what makes a really good communicator, and he said you have to be clear. The clarity in those situations and the way the defense was playing, just kind of watching him get the guys in and out of the huddle. I know we talk about that's like low-hanging fruit in terms of a compliment, but
It's a low-hanging fruit when you're not making the plays to go along with it.
exactly, but the guys seemed prepared. Everyone seemed to be on the same page, and you saw that on the field.
Do you think the crowd can be too loud for their own defense?
We joked around with
Taron Johnson.
Said the guys be a little bit quieter so that we can talk.
He was laughing when he said that.
It was a joke.
Because
It was,
it does intimidate the offense and it causes them problems. But when you guys are so loud that the coach can't talk to his own player on the Bills, that does make it a little bit tougher.
It is pretty funny. It was so loud. It was deafening. Like a lot of times they'll pump in crowd noise during practices to kind of emulate what it's like.
Not even, right?
No, but it was louder than that.
Oh, that's what I'm
it
saying.
was just
they
like
can't create it.
It was just it was a lot, but in a great way.
Can we talk to her?
Well, we're gonna go D line.
Okay.
Look at him. Go ahead.
Let's go to D line.
All right.
Okay, the D line. They've invested so much.
Yeah.
They are seeing those results. Von Miller is expected to return to practice.
Yep.
Some reports saying this upcoming week. Thinking about what he could add makes this already really good Bills pass rush scary.
Yeah.
But today, I felt like when they needed a play, there was just pressure.
It was. The first couple of drives, Miami moved.
Yes.
And took advantage of a few things. And the Bills adjusted. And they talked about, Leonard Floyd was talking about it. We saw, again, A.J. Epinesa getting your hands up in
that
the
once
lanes,
a week.
making a play. And the Bills could have had a few more turnovers.
Yep.
No question about it. Trey White, when we're going to talk about Trey, had an opportunity. Fumble on the ground. Micah Hyde could have had it.
Yeah.
He ended up getting an interception later, so they could have had those. But as far as the D-line was concerned, Ed Oliver is playing at the level you want him to play at.
It's, when the Bills paid him, I was like, okay, they
He's a steal right now.
clearly believe in him. But to see the level of play and how fast and free he's been it's been a breakout season in my eyes.
He's the guy that you hoped when you drafted him.
Yeah.
In the top 10.
Absolutely.
Like, he's the guy that we said, you need to protect the quarterback and you need to get pressure right in his face.
Yeah.
That was what that was the Brady thing. That's how you affect all great quarterbacks. Get pressure right in his face.
Yeah.
And he's doing it.
What I always think about with Ed is they always talk about D linemen, especially in the interior. It's not a stat thing usually, right? It's about getting pressure, causing
You're a fire hydrant.
He likes to get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's good at it.
He's good at it, and he gets those pressures. And I think he likes the stats a little bit too.
Absolutely.
Who wouldn't?
I know, but sometimes those guys, just the way they play,
Yeah.
you don't see. You'll get done a game, and somebody will say, a guy had 2 tackles and whatever, but he dominated the inside.
Yeah.
Ed gets pressure. I think Ed could play a little D-end if they needed
I
him
agree.
to, because he has a pass rushing instinct, no doubt.
He definitely does. All right, let's talk to
I'm going to just start with this. If you have your coffee mug, you can turn it to Dan was right.
I would just like to say, for the comments that said the guy in the maroon sport coat doesn't know what he's talking about, there were a lot of Dolphins fans in our in our mentions, which is great. We love it. Thanks for coming aboard. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll talk to you guys again later.
Love that.
But there were so many people that said, I don't know what I'm talking about in all of these things, and how dare you compare him to Brock Purdy? He was a one-read guy today. He was one read, and when that was off, and I said, when everything's on script and everything's on time, Tua's great.
Yeah.
There's very few quarterbacks that are better on script. But you saw what Josh Allen is able to do, and that's what makes him different. Is the off-script plays. The running, you look like he's going to run the DIGGS touchdown right here.
Yeah.
Looks like he's going to run, zips it in.
Yeah.
He was lost when the first read was gone.
Now, I'm going to take a little time out in your patting yourself on the back because I said you were right, and you are. But there is something in between only good on one read and then making off-script plays. I think that's different. I think there's a progression a quarterback goes through. Listen, I think Tua is a good quarterback.
I do too.
And he's not Josh Allen. Nobody ever said he was. And there were times in this game where he did go to multiple reads. And he also made some plays on the run. I think the Bills adjusted and took the negatives that you can get out of him. Got your hands up in the air, got more pressure, did those things. The D-line got after it, and it helped him. I do think there's something in between. But no question, Josh Allen's strength is being able to do both of those things way more impressively than Tua.
And my point was, again, we talked about the point guard analogy, that he's a great point guard. It was annoying to me, and where my comparison to Brock Purdy came in was the fact that Tua was the favorite for MVP. Because
heading into week 4.
Right.
Agreed. It's still I don't care where it is in the season. It's comical to think that Tua was going to be an MVP. Because Brock Purdy, we don't look at Brock Purdy in San Francisco being the MVP.
Yeah, but they don't score like this team.
Yeah.
It was Denver.
I know. Oh, Denver's
terrible. They gave up
terrible.
28 points to Chicago.
Oh, no.
Wait, what was who won?
Denver came back and won.
Oh,
31-28.
Look, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying to this Miami team's going to be around all year, and Tua is a really good quarterback.
And in a really good system.
In a very good system.
Yeah.
But I think the Bills' defense really disrupted him, and they found his weaknesses.
I agree.
And it's kind of
He's
like
a good quarterback in a very good system.
I think you're right.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I would agree with you. And I don't think it's crazy that he was in MVP conversations because it was week 4, because you can only go off the results you've seen so far this season.
Right.
This is a game where you're either hungry or humble or about to be humbled. The Dolphins are now humbled.
Yeah. And by the way, I think number 17's in those conversations.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the MVP talk. It's
Okay.
early.
Personally.
But it's early.
I love
but it's
LaShawn McCoy's tweet.
Yep.
I can't remember exactly. My phone's dead, but it was like
I have something in my eye.
Josh took it personally. But I do like Tua, though.
I'm going to fight through it.
You?
Yep.
So he likes Tua more than he likes Dak.
Yeah, because Dak is ass. Okay, changing gears.
Yeah.
The only really negative from today.
Big one.
Trey White going down. So hard to see. Throwing his helmet. Seemed to be a non-contact thing. Out with an Achilles injury. At the time that we're recording this, we haven't gotten a final word of what it is, but it seems to be a season-ending one.
Yeah, it's an Achilles. Look, the three of us, what we know medically couldn't fit in this mic flag, okay?
Yeah.
But we've seen a lot of sports injuries, so you saw that and right away, Dan. I mean, it's the way he reacted. And then you saw the way his teammates reacted. And then the team finally confirmed that it was an Achilles.
Yeah.
It does not look good.
When they said ankle, I was like, I wish it would have been knee.
That's exactly.
Because they said ankle when we were in New York about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Now, you were down on the field in New Orleans when it happened with his knee. You were down on the field today. And to see that guy and the way he is and who he is to this franchise, and the players know.
Yeah.
I mean, his season's going to be over. That was hard to watch and hard for them to take.
Every player talked about what Trey means, his impact, all of those things.
Awful.
Okay, first guy in, how hard he worked to get back from the ACL injury on Thanksgiving. What shook me and what kind of rattled me was when Sean McDermott was talking about sometimes you just wonder why. Why does something like this happen
chills,
twice? And again, we see them, and again, we are critical of their performance on the field. And sometimes we do say that, like, we think football players are robots. That's a man. That's a father. He's got 3 kids.
3 kids,
That was what really is kind of chilling. You know how hard he comes back, and Sean McDermott say, you just sometimes wonder why.
Yeah. And I think what got me was he was punching the turf.
And he knew.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, of course he knew. It's just like your
same
heart.
thing- same thing in New Orleans.
Your heart
He knew.
goes out to a person like that because you're like, man, that just you work so hard, and to have that happen, it's just awful.
It's very early in this process for him. Trey is a thoughtful guy.
Yeah.
He thinks differently. He is a family man. All those
Yeah.
things. And he struggled with his last injury.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the work.
He had never
No,
been
yeah.
injured before in his life, he
And
said.
it's
Yeah.
not the work. He will put in the work. It was the emotional part about feeling right and coming back.
Yeah.
And now it's a different injury, a leg injury though still.
Remember, he talked about finding his worth, being more than a
Yes,
football player.
yeah,
Yeah.
He goes,
yeah.
I'm not just a football player. All of these things, and finding his value off the field. Because again, we talk on here on a camera, and you guys listen to the channel, and you watch all the networks. We talk about these guys as just football players, and, and it gets lost in the mix of
They're people.
They're human beings too
Yeah,
in the mix,
yeah.
and so sometimes they can just associate with I'm just a football player. I'm just a football
Yeah.
player, and really tough to see.
And
Yeah.
when you're watching a game, it's a bad thing. You see it, and then Dane Jackson pops in the game, and you
Unbelievable.
start playing
Yeah.
again. This
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
happens.
Kyrie
But,
Elam.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna. A lot of people thought he might dress today. Again, to the football end of it, I think he's going to dress
I
for
think
the
he will
game
dress in
Yeah.
London.
in London for the
Yeah.
next game, and they're going to need that young guy to
Yeah.
step up.
Yeah.
I mean, Dane Jackson to play. It looks like Christian Benford was better.
Yeah.
But in order to talk about Trey that way and what he means, and like you said, Sean McDermott as a first guy. That's his first guy.
Yeah, the
bringing
first
in,
guy he drafted.
where
yeah.
they drafted in 2017. So,
Yeah.
the players are praying for him. I know a lot of
It's
fans
tough.
are too. They should be because
Yep.
the guy's going to need the support.
Yeah, Sean McDermott said that he knows he'll be back. He'll rebound back
Yeah.
because
He was fighting back tears.
yeah,
Yeah.
Trey is too tough. So
Yep.
I know a lot of Bills fans feeling that as well, just wishing him prayers. Mitch Morris said to keep Trey White in the prayers, but that's something that obviously we'll continue to update with when we hear the latest.
Yep.
In terms of injury stuff, though, DeMar Hamlin being back out here
Yeah.
today, kind of, I mean, I know it's the opposite end of the spectrum, but he took some moments pregame,
Yeah.
running around the field, soaking it all in. And it's crazy to think that 9 months ago, you guys were in Cincinnati and what that experience was like.
We were outside a hospital for a full day.
Yeah.
And wondering if he was going to live. And to see him back in the field, and again, amazing moment. I hope now we can continue to
Yeah.
see him as a football player.
Yeah.
Because again, Gabe Davis, we asked him about it. He said it was great to see him. All these things, like we've been seeing this. Stephon Diggs has been
Yeah.
saying it. Like
Yeah.
we see him again as a football player. Beat the odds. Amazing moment. Again, impact on special teams. But again, we see what injuries happen. Deion Dawkins said injury rate is 100% in the NFL. So again, adding another depth piece, getting him back on the field, another
Yeah.
way to step in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think most of you watching us know this, but like DeMar wasn't playing because of numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
it
wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah.
Sometimes people would say, why is DeMar not on the field? DeMar was really like the fifth guy at the moment. Well, fourth
Fourth or
as
fifth.
safety,
Yeah.
depending on what they
Yeah.
were doing. And the minute Jordan Poyer couldn't go, and we'll
Yeah.
see where
Yeah.
Poyer is for next week,
Yes.
DeMar got his chance to play,
Yeah.
and it was great to see him. But I got to say, for him, it's business as usual back on the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah. And London.
Yeah.
Up ahead. Mike and I are going to London.
Fish and chips.
Fish and chips, pubs, soccer, football.
Football.
Football. I
Football,
messed that
football,
up.
Football and
Americans. See, we will
Tuesday,
say,
isn't it?
well, hold on. Here's
was-
Jenna does one bit of a British accent all the time
Hello.
when she answers the phone. That's it.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
Governor.
The last time we went,
Hello.
Toby Motika worked with us,
Yeah.
and he performed in a promotional video as British Toby. And people have asked me, is there
It's
British
pain-
Jenna?
No. No. If you
Hello.
want hello.
That's it.
I want to go to a high tea ceremony.
Yeah, you're on your own on that one.
Okay. I want to go.
Let your boyfriend bring you there.
Yeah. He doesn't want to go. Maybe I'll just go by myself. I think that'd be fun. We're going
Yeah.
to a soccer game, football game.
Football. Yeah, I guess it's, you got us in the biggest game of the week.
Yeah, it's a terrible game, but it'll be fun.
I want to see it. I want to see what it's,
Hope
at least
both
a little
teams
bit
have
of what it's
fun.
like out there.
This team preparing, going up against Jacksonville,
Yeah.
who is spending the week there. That adds another interesting element kind of to this matchup.
Yeah, the last time the Bills went, they were there for the whole week. We were there with them the whole week, and they practice at this facility that's like 45 minutes outside of London. But the team was there. They did some events and things during the week. I remember Marcel Darius quoting Shakespeare in the park, and they did a phenomenal
Oh,
video
I think
on
I've
it.
seen that on
It was so
social.
good.
I hope they do.
They're not doing any of this.
Darcel
Yeah,
Marius.
Stephen A. Boy, he's having a rough day.
Diggs looks really unhappy.
Yeah, Josh Allen, nobody likes him.
Yeah, is he elite?
But the team won't arrive until like Friday morning over there, and they're going to practice. And basically, they'll spend very, very, very little time in the city of London.
Yeah.
They'll be out there, and then they'll play on Sunday.
Whereas Jacksonville, it played this morning. They beat the Falcons, and they are staying in London. And for everybody that says that's great, they get adjusted all these things, it's not. They are thrown off their rhythm. It is a week that's unlike anything else. I think it's a negative. I think it's a positive for the Bills that they are just getting in and getting out. They will get adjusted to the time. They will travel 2 days earlier than they usually do to arrive in London. So I think the Bills have a massive advantage travel-wise.
The only difference, the only difference for Jacksonville is that they go there every year,
They're used to it.
so it's a little different. And I will say, this franchise's history against Jacksonville as a team is not great.
I didn't even think.
I didn't think about that either.
The bad loss.
Hey, on the way, they are going to come back and win that game in 2020.
Lost to him in London. Jim Kelly's last game here, lost to him. The playoff game down there,
wow.
Oh, they're going to win that Urban Meyer game.
That's it. That's it. This is
they're going to replay
that playoff game.
They can replay.
That's when McDermott broke the drought, and then they lost.
Yes, they lost.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, that's all the negatives. This team, not a lot of negatives the way this team's playing.
Remember our flight got canceled?
Oh, yeah. But you got sushi.
Yeah, it was great. You can find a sushi
hopefully you made it to
place
this
anywhere.
end, this late in the video. Okay.
All
Yeah,
right,
go
let's
ahead.
give Dan his flowers.
Man,
it
more
always
flowers.
makes it like a little bit cringy when you're the one asking for your flowers.
All right, I won't do it.
Okay. All right, well, thank you so much for watching.
There's a video on our channel every week, Dan's Best Bets.
Yeah.
Certainly in Rochester, it's the dominant picks. I mean,
absolutely.
What'd you
the other
go today?
people don't even bother.
So I had 9 plays this week. 7-1.
That's pretty good.
That's 8. What was the last one?
We got Giants on Monday night.
Oh.
Giants
Okay.
+1. If you want to jump on, Giants +1.
Okay.
Dable extra rest.
Okay.
Wow.
And I had ugly picks. I had the Ravens. I had the Jags. I had the Titans. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, the Titans won?
Yeah,
Dominated
the
the Bengals.
Dominated the Bengals.
Oh, I haven't
Bengals are
seen
in
that.
trouble.
My phone was dead.
Yeah.
And when you're on the field, it's hard to check on
winners.
stuff.
You do know
Really?
that they
Winners.
have things you can plug in to keep those
Winners.
things going.
I know, but
Winners.
I'm
This
running.
one's winners.
I'm running around
Winners.
Way to
down
go.
here.
No wonder the
Winners.
phone dies. You
Winners.
just dropped my phone.
I need a new phone.
Winners. Winners.
Yeah, she needs a new phone.
Winners.
Dan,
Okay. Okay. All right. We get it.
do you anything else you want to congratulate yourself on?
No. Well, first read Tua. Uncle Dan's Best Bets.
Are we
Ken
forgetting
Dorsey.
anything?
Ken Dorsey. Ken Dorsey proved me wrong today.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1. Yeah, I'll take it.
Oh, that's so good. I want to remind everyone, if you go to the Buffalo Plus store, you get free shipping on any orders over $25. Check out buffaloplusstore.com.
Mike's paying for those personally.
You
Yes,
got it.
exactly. Coming out of the...
I took that personally.
I took that personally. All right, for Mike and Dan, I am Jenna. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast and the channel. If you enjoy our stuff, please share it. We're going to be in London, so be sure to let us know. I hate you guys. You guys, not you guys, but thank you. You.